Gratitude, the quality of being thankful, or the readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. Now, I know that gratitude can mean many different things to different people depending on the context that it's in. You know, it could be a character trait, it could just be a feeling, a virtue, a behavior. You can, of course, feel grateful towards someone that did something for you. You could be grateful for random events such as the weather. You could even be grateful for things like nature or even maybe fate. But what if I told you that just being grateful for things could affect your well-being in a massive way? Now, while this might sound like just another one of those self-development trends or fads, what we currently know about it is actually based on a massive body of scientific work and studies. In the field of positive psychology research, evidence has strongly and consistently found that the simple act of being more grateful can actually empirically increase your happiness. Yep. You heard me correctly. Being grateful can literally just make you more happy. It has been found that gratitude stimulates the pathways in your brain involved with feelings of reward, forming social bonds, and interpreting other people's intentions, otherwise known as empathy. It also makes it easier to save and to retrieve positive memories. And even more so, gratitude has been found to directly counteract negative feelings. Things like jealousy, social comparison, narcissism, cynicism, and materialism. As a direct consequence to this, it has been found that people that are grateful, no matter what they're grateful for, tend to be more happy and more satisfied. They form better relationships, they find it easier to make friends, they sleep better, they tend to suffer less from things like depression, anxiety, addictions, burnout, and they even tend to be better at dealing with more traumatic events in their lives. Now, honestly, I'm pretty tired just reciting that list. But for me, this sounds like a pretty amazing list of benefits for doing something as seemingly trivial and small as just being more grateful for things. But the science is there. It's true. We now actually know that the reason that gratitude is so good for us actually goes way back to our cavemen ancestor days. It used to be a bit of a survival trait. We used to be grateful for people doing things for us because those people that did things for us were likely doing things that would help us survive, helping to protect us, helping to feed us, things like that. And gratitude usually meant that they liked you back and were more likely to repeat that thing for you in the future. However, these days, and in terms of psychology, the reason that gratitude holds such a power over our well-being is really just that it allows us to take a moment to acknowledge the good we already have in our lives. It's a way for us to appreciate all the amazing things and the amazing moments that we already experience. The little things that just happen to us on a daily basis that we really probably should be a bit more grateful for. It allows us to stop and to take a little bit of happiness from those things, instead of just reaching for something new or something else in the hopes that it'll bring us happiness instead. If you're a human being, which I'm hoping that you are, you'll probably be happy to admit that you're guilty of falling into that trap. The trap of feeling like you just won't be really satisfied until every single one of your physical and material needs are met. When actually we tend to have enough already. We're always looking for that next or that new thing. And gratitude is just a really amazing way to help us refocus on the good that we already have instead of maybe the things that we think we lack. In the process of doing this, we can also tend to start to recognize that the source of that good lies maybe a little bit more outside of ourselves than we maybe first thought. And as a result of this, gratitude is an amazing way to help us to connect to things that are a little bit larger than just ourselves. Whether that's connecting to other people, connecting to nature, connecting to society, or just something in the world around us in general. At its best, being more grateful has been found to be able to trigger this amazing upward spiral of positive well-being. If you think about it, positive feelings tend to lead to more positive feelings, and that's where this all gets started. One of the places you might have seen this upwards positive spiral before, one of the places that's maybe most evident, is right after someone goes through a period of extreme hardship, the time just after something quite bad happens to someone. This is very common in people that have some sort of health scare or maybe even a near-death experience. For a lot of these people, life can feel amazing after the crisis is over. The smallest things become these overwhelming feelings of joy. From simple things like just having a meal, to being able to sit and feel the sun on their face, to just sitting in a bar and chatting with their friends. Now, this situation from the outside to an objective viewer is not any better than it actually was. In fact, it might even be worse than before. But their brains compare their present experiences with the times that they've had, the bad times in the past, and reacts with gratitude. And it all happens up here. So two psychologists, Dr. Robert A. Emmons and Dr. Michael E. McCulloch, have been credited with doing a lot of research on gratitude. In one study, for example, they asked all their participants to write down a few sentences each week, but focusing on particular topics. One group was asked to write about things that they were grateful for during the week. A second group was asked to write about daily irritations or things that had displeased them slightly. And the third group was asked to just write about events that had happened to them, with no particular emphasis on the positive or the negative. After just 10 weeks of doing this, they found that the subjects that wrote about gratitude were more optimistic and positives about their lives as a whole. Maybe even more surprisingly though, they found that these people actually exercised more during that time too. Meaning that this seemingly tiny, simple little act of just being more grateful actually helped them improve their physical health as well as their mental well-being. In fact, what is amazing is that almost every study published on the idea of gratitude do support an association between gratitude and an individual's well-being. And actually, this has been found to apply to almost every area of life that we work in. For example, a study of couples found that individuals who took time to express gratitude to their partner not only felt more positive towards their better half, but they also felt more comfortable expressing concerns about their relationship too. Another study found that managers who take the time to thank their staff resulted in those employees feeling more motivated to work for them. Not only that, but one study even found that the employees actually generated the company 50% more income during the study when the managers were asked to be more grateful for their employees. So it's pretty clear to me that this idea of gratitude can hold enormous strength. So how do we put this into practice? How do we actually become more grateful? Just like anything else that you want to get better at, if you want to get better at gratitude, you just have to practice it. Now, I know some of you are going to hate me for that, for just saying, just go out there and actually do it, but it is actually as simple as that. However, to give you some more practical reasons, I've got 4 things that you could do on maybe a daily basis that will help you increase the amount of gratitude that you output. Number 1. Write a thank you note. This is a great one if you've got someone else that you're grateful for, someone's done something for you that you're really grateful for. It could be for a specific thing, it could be a thing they did for you, or it could just be for having them in your life. By expressing your appreciation of that person's impact on your life, you can make yourself happier and you can also start to nurture that relationship with them a little bit more. What's amazing about this is that you don't even have to send them the letter, you don't even have to give it to them. Just by writing it down, you actually do increase your happiness slightly. But obviously it's going to go a lot further if you actually send it to them, deliver it to them, or even better, hand deliver it to them and actually read it out to them. And you know what? Once in a while, why not write yourself a letter of gratitude too? Number 2 is really simply just thank someone mentally. This one is absolutely amazing for me because it turns out you can still achieve a lot of the positive benefits of gratitude without that thought even leaving your head. Alright, number 3, this one's a bit more involved, but you can start to keep a gratitude journal. This is something that I've never actually tried before, but I've heard loads of people do it before and I've heard that it works wonders. Making this a habit to write down each day the amazing things that happened to you that day can really help this be an ingrained part of your well-being. And it's really easy. Just pick a few things that you're grateful for that day. It could be the weather, it could be something nice that happened to you, it could just be that you had a nice lunch. But a great tip here is that as you write them down, be really specific. Think about everything all the way down to the sensations that you felt when something good happened to you. Last but not least, tip number 4 is to practice meditation. Now, I'm a massive fan of mindfulness and meditation, and it basically just involves focusing on the present moment without kind of judgment around it. I know that you can incorporate your gratitude into your mindfulness by just thinking about the things that you're grateful for while you're being mindful. But you know what? The important thing here is not to necessarily do one of those 4 things. It's just to start being a bit more mindful about how you could be more grateful. How could you include a bit more gratitude into your life for yourself and for the people around you? It sounds almost a little bit insulting to say it as simply as that, but the research has shown that it really is just as simple as that. In fact, to wrap this all up, it turns out that in numerous studies, the participants actually reported being happier and having a generally higher satisfaction with their own lives just a few days into regularly practicing being more grateful. And some studies have even found a difference in the brain activity towards the more positive end of the scale months after they even stopped practicing being more grateful. The effects of gratitude are everywhere. They're massive and they cannot be ignored. And honestly, for me, it's pretty mind-blowing that something as simple as self-reflection can change the way our brain works and can change the way we think about ourselves. But I guess even more than that, it tells me that we do have power over the way that we think, and we have power over the way that we feel. Maybe even when it feels like we don't. troops, thank you so much for watching this video. You know, for some of you that have maybe got to know me a little bit over the past few months, you'll know that I'm a very kind of scientifically and logically minded person. So when I first got introduced to this idea of gratitude maybe a couple of years ago, I didn't really think much to it. I thought that maybe it was a little bit wishy-washy, a little bit all over the place, but it turns out there's a plethora of scientific information in here, and I've read a bunch of it to make this video. I really hope you give this a go. If you do, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoy this kind of stuff, then also consider hitting that big red subscribe button for me as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.